Closing doors, please.
All right. So first question, do you believe that it is possible for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict to be solved despite beginning in the 1940s? Can it be done? Why or why not?
It depends on government position in Israel, and if we're being honest, from the multiple ceasefires which have been called and broken by the Zionist side, the multiple agreements they had, the multiple solutions that they've had, it's not, really going to lead to peace. It's just that the Zionists, they're just going to slowly keep on taking over more and more and more until they can. Trump actually had a interview, and it came out, he said that when he met with President Abbas from Palestine, he was for peace talks, but when he met with Netanyahu, he was like, meaning Netanyahu wasn't ready for peace, he wanted the war. So if you do get somebody from the Zionist side who is truly peaceful, which I highly doubt, but yeah, I don't think in that region there's going to be peace as long as Zionism is there and strong.
America in general was built on diversity, right? That was one of the main focal points that made America great. And unfortunately, over time, we slowly started forgetting about our brothers and sisters all across the world and every other nation. There are nations that are going through tragedies all the time, and we always remain silent. It all comes down to whether or not we all stand up together and actually fight against it. This is not just America, this is every Arab country, every country in the world. They have to stand up and condemn this, right? Murder is wrong no matter which side it comes from. You have to be willing to accept it and condemn it, right? We're all American. We know America's done a lot for us. A lot for us. We have freedoms here that we can't get in other countries. But unfortunately, with everything that's happening, we're taking it for granted, right? They're taking advantage of it. We're not doing our part. But even though we love America, even though we accept all the great things it's done for us, we can still condemn America for every bad thing they've done. So why can't they? Right? It's not hating individual people. We're not hating races. We have beautiful Jewish people that were with us this entire time. But it comes down to unity, and it comes down to the people above us being willing to actually help us and listen to our voices, not ignore us. We don't want anything to escalate. We want this to stay and remain peaceful. That's it. That's all we want. We want peace.
And if I might just add a little more, it's about coexistence. We want to coexist with everybody, but it's when you have these radical ideologies which want to overtake others' rights, that's when we have trouble. So coexistence is the goal, but while these radical ideologies are alive, it's a very far-fetched idea of coexistence, especially when they have funding and military power.
Second question, are the intentions of Hamas revolutionary or terroristic in your opinion?
You want to start this one? I got it.
So it's always a touchy topic because everybody's scared of the results and the backlash that comes with the answers, right? And ultimately, when you're living in another country, you don't know what the full truth ever is, right? You just try to make the best answer you can with the information that's provided to you, right? With Hamas, from my understanding and from what I've seen over the decades of oppression, it is a retaliation. It is an attempt for revolution, right? Are the actions condemnable? Of course. No one wants anyone to die. That's what everybody wants to avoid. But it gets to a point where someone has to fight back. You can't keep a bird caged forever and expect them to just sit there until the person comes down and puts them down, right? So unfortunately, yes, I do view them as a revolutionary, right? And just to inspire some sort of hope in the people that are trapped there in the biggest air prison in the history of in at least the last 2 centuries, right? It's the biggest air prison out there. No blockades, can't go in and out, have no rights, right? So unfortunately, as much as you condemn the actions because no one wants anyone to die or anyone to be murdered or killed, it is for a cause, a righteous cause.
Just to add on a little more to that, there's a chant we have, resistance is justified when you're being occupied. I feel like the revolutionary, here's an analogy. If I go into your house, I punch you in the face, I throw you in your bathroom and lock you up, and then you finally break out that bathroom and you beat me up, and then I play victim, but it's your house. But I say, wait, he's being a terrorist, but I'm the one that took his house. He has every right to start beating me up because I took his house. It's his right. He's resisting the occupation. So long live the resistance.
Is the Western media one-sided in this conflict?
Western media is 100% one-sided in this conflict. They ran, I don't want to speak much on it because all I have to say is they said 40 dead babies. Western media ran with it, and then everyone ended up finding out it's not even true. There's zero lick of evidence. Western media is so corrupt that even the president said he saw this, saw evidence of it. He said he saw pictures of it. And then the White House had to come out and say, no, old man Biden did not see any pictures of it. So yes, they're one-sided. If they're running with something like this with zero evidence, and they're trying to make crazy headlines out of it, in my opinion, they're 100% one-sided.
For me personally, I mean, this is a perfect example. I mean, you saw firsthand how large this protest was. You got a chunky guy like me walking all this way for a reason, right? Like, let's be real. I'd rather sit back and play video games and eat chips. But I'm out here fighting, right? Because at the end of the day, our voices are being heard. That's the worst part. It's not that it's not being heard, they're being heard. And we're still being propagated, and they're fabricating stories about what the Americans feel about the situation. They try gaslighting everyone, try to twist everyone's words. We had protests, we had a hostage released, and on camera stated that she was treated nicely and she was respected, because in the Islamic faith, it is a religion of peace. That's all it is. So even after that, they scratch it up, they cut it halfway through, you know. So there's a lot of you know, obviously propaganda that's being misconstrued, information being misconstrued, and they're just trying to control the narrative. Unfortunately, we can't rely on the actual media out there, CNN, NBC, you know, to give us the full truth. That's why we have people such as yourself who are going out and interviewing people such as us and getting our opinions. I hope this actually does travel enough where our voices are heard, and hopefully one day someone does make a difference and makes a change. So,
what does it mean when you hear? What does it mean to you when you hear "Free Palestine"?
To me, it means people who want freedom, basic human rights. Our sign right here. Humans demand humanity. It's a very simple sign, 3 words, and it has a very deep message. Humans demand humanity. Do you know how low it has to go to for us to demand humanity for just humans, just for them to live freely in a just society without being pushed around and held in an open air prison, and they can't do what they want without being interrogated, or they don't know when the next bomb is going to drop, or they don't know if their house is next to get, you know, taken from them. So, you know, you don't hear Free Israel for a reason. It's Free Palestine because they're the ones that are being oppressed. Free Palestine, those 2 simple words tell you a very deep story.
Free Palestine this is not the first country, right? We've had American culture history has indicated this in the past. We've had slavery, we've had the eradication of the indigenous people. Even now, it's not just Israel and Palestine. We had Iraq, where they lied about nuclear weapons and they killed over 1 million Iraqis. We had Libya, Syria, Bahrain, all these Middle Eastern countries that were destroyed. We have the Uyghurs in China. When you say Free Palestine, you're talking about freeing people in general that are being oppressed. That's it. Everybody has the right to live. Everyone has the right to live, and no one has the right, except God Almighty, to decide whether someone lives or dies. It doesn't matter what faith you're in. It doesn't matter if you're idol worshippers, you're one of the Abrahamic faiths. It doesn't matter who you are. No one has the right to decide whether you live and die, and no one has the right to judge you as a human being. Only God can. All we can ask is you treat us all the same. That's all we ask.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna wrap this.